Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda.
Spontaneous patriotic celebration at the death of public enemy number one outside the White House. Good evening. The al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden is dead, killed by American special forces who raided his hideout in Pakistan in the early hours of the morning. His body has already been committed to the sea from a US warship. The fortified compound where he was living was in Abbottabad, north of the Pakistani capital, Islamabad, and within a mile of the military academy. Our Washington correspondent Sarah Smith reports on the mission that took the world by surprise.
These remarkable pictures from right inside his compound show us exactly where Osama bin Laden was finally killed. The blood you can see on the floor, evidence of how he was shot in the head through his left eye after he fired at the US forces who'd come to get him. From inside the White House, the president watched a live video feed of every heart-stopping moment.
At my direction, the United States launched a targeted operation against that compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. A small team of Americans carried out the operation with extraordinary courage and capability. No Americans were harmed. They took care to avoid civilian casualties. After a firefight, they killed Osama bin Laden and took custody of his body.
Months of intelligence work had led the US to Abbottabad, about 50 miles north of the capital, Islamabad, and very near a major Pakistani military training base. US helicopters set off from their base in Tarbala around 30 miles away. As the two choppers arrived to hover and lower 12 Navy SEALs to the ground, one malfunctioned and was forced to land. The SEALs stormed the compound and a firefight ensued, killing bin Laden, 3 other men, including bin Laden's son, and a woman. A third emergency helicopter then flew in, and together with the first chopper, flew off with the body of Osama bin Laden and all 12 special forces on board. They deliberately destroyed the broken chopper on the ground in a massive explosion as they left.
I heard the helicopters come in. They came in fast and low. Then after some time they were circling over the place. Then the first bang came, 3 other consecutive bangs came. Then there was one fifth final bang which made the whole sky orange.
The flames from the burning helicopter could be seen for miles. But the Pakistani government claimed they had no idea this was bin Laden's hiding place, and no one told them what was about to happen here. Pakistani military jets nearly attacked the US helicopters as they left the compound. Cheering crowds outside the White House see this as a clear and simple victory for the USA.
The legal capture of him and decisive insertion of our special operations to kill him is a great victory for us.
This huge weight is lifted off my shoulder. I am so grateful to this administration to have been persistent.
Outside Ground Zero in New York, there was a sense of vindication.
I hope that Mr. bin Laden had to experience the same type of brutal and prolonged death that nearly 3,000 people had to endure in the World Trade Center on 9/11.
President Obama is obviously keen to claim the credit for the death of the man they're calling the most infamous terrorist of our time. And he's letting it be known that he personally vetoed a plan to bomb the compound because he wanted to make sure he had concrete evidence bin Laden had been killed, not just a pile of rubble. Photographs of bin Laden's dead body were immediately analysed with photo recognition technology. And today, the White House say DNA results 100% confirm his identity. His body was lowered into the North Arabian Sea early this morning. But Americans don't believe the threat from al-Qaeda has died with him.
Worst thing we could do now is let down our guard, and I think we need to maintain our vigilance, assume that there'll be other efforts made, mounted to try to launch attacks against the United States.
The newspapers here all tell one simple story, while the government's warning everyone to watch out for al-Qaeda's retaliation. Sarah Smith, Channel 4 News, Washington.